Don't you know that the music should be...
You said you wanted to start it off? Well, start it off.
Let's go. Let's go. I love that. I love that you say that now. When did you make that up? Yeah, let's go.
Well, I said it when I was a child, and now I say it all the time in real life. So I've basically regressed because I say it.
You're back to being a child.
I'm back to being a child.
Because you never said it for 7 years when I knew you in Sons of Anarchy.
And now I say
let's go
all the time. Let's go. LEZZGOO.
No, I'm copying it from you. It's now on all my Twitter shit. So get ready. And it's let's go because you have two beautiful boys, 5 and 3, that are always let's go, Dad. Let's go. Let's go.
It's nonstop. It's nonstop.
God, those boys are so beautiful. I wish I could share some of these pictures you just sent me. I'll let you do that. But God damn, they are something else.
You got their boxing videos.
Hi. Here I am. I'm back in my Canadian home.
I'll be there in a few days. I'll be there in a few days. Yeah.
Well, actually, you're going to be where I just left.
Oh.
I left Eastern Canada, finished that movie, C for Me. Now I'm back in Western Canada in my house here. And as you might have noticed, I'm outside. I've been kicked out.
I'm admiring the piece of art behind you.
Yeah.
It's like you're in the woods.
I got my trees and my copper sun up there. Ooh. I wish I could show you what I'm looking at over here, but we'll keep them in suspense, these beautiful peeps that are watching. Anyway, Kyla Coates, who you know and love,
your daughter,
who's still trying to save America. God bless that child. She's here now for her 2-week quarantine. Oh. I got a brand new motorhome that she's sleeping in outside. Oh. And she does her work in a portion of the living room that's all been, blocked off just for her. And that happened to include my Zoom meetings with you. So I've been kicked out.
I have questions about this because I'm about to go do a quarantine. I just did a COVID test yesterday. I'm negative, which is all good. For anybody that's done them or has heard all the things, they jam that thing all the way in your nose. If you have a bigger schnoz, obviously you'd be fine. You wouldn't even know it was in.
No.
You wouldn't even know it was happening. You'd probably ask, when's the test? And they'd be like, we've done 3 of them already. We've done 3.
We've been doing it for 25 minutes, Mr. Coates.
So you're not going near Kyla Coates?
She's not coming near us for 2 weeks. Yeah, she's got her motorhome, so she sleeps and showers and goes to the bathroom and all that stuff. But she'll work inside by the Wi-Fi in a special cordoned off room just for her. Yeah. It's 2 weeks and she's almost done. 3 more days to go. Kyla's a true champ.
Yeah, I'll be in the hotel room in outside of Toronto, and I can't
wait, man. I can't wait to hear how it goes for you.
Yeah,
are you gonna go crazy and stir crazy without Megan and me and all your are you gonna go nuts or you're gonna enjoy it?
I don't want to jump. I don't want to jump on this answer too fast because I know what my first reaction was. But it's been like I've been in massive lockdown. Like I'm home all the time, and I have 2 children under 5, which we just spoke about.
Crazy. Bananas.
I don't know what's going on. So the thought of being in a hotel room, sure. Yeah.
It's very exciting. It's very exciting.
Very exciting.
Right now. Yeah.
It's very exciting. So again, I don't know what silence means. So I'm kind of like, what is silence like? And even when I get the silence for a minute, like my dog Rocco, who you know so well, he's had bad hot spots. So he's had the cone of shame on.
Oh, has he?
So when they have the cone on, everywhere they walk is a disaster. He's knocking over the water bowl. So it's just been chaos. But yeah,
you're ready to leave tomorrow. Really.
I'm ready. I'm okay. Let's see what happens. And I'm ready.
And you're going back to work, Theo. Come on. How lucky are you and me? We're going back to work. Like it's pretty crazy excited right now.
Yeah, I gotta hope that I know what I'm doing and get back in. And
it's too late for that.
No, I don't know what I'm doing. And you know what? Speaking of not knowing what I'm doing, social media is an interesting thing. You brought it up before. You do such a great job of really non-existing on it. Like you kind of, you're in, you're out. You like kind of dip in, you dip out.
Exactly.
I'm fascinated by that. I'm going to tell you why. I have such a love-hate relationship with this whole world we live in, this whole thing of social media. Because
but you're exploding on Instagram. You're all animals. You're all kindness. So you're exploding that way. So people love that about you.
I'm really trying. And I found this new thing where I didn't know this, where certain people I follow, I was just telling Mego that I'm now muting certain people I follow. And what that means is
What does that mean?
So it lets them know that it doesn't let them know that I'm not following them anymore, but I can't see what they post. And let me tell you why I'm doing this. I find myself potentially looking at them different now. And meaning by that, like, I'll give you an example. I think it's strange, and this is I don't judge anybody for anything. I just think it's strange if you tweet or post 50 times a day. Like, I just don't understand how you have the capacity to do that and live a life. Maybe it's because my life is crazier. Maybe it's because, you and I are all over, and children and life and trying to live and trying to whatever. But the weirdness to comment on every single thing that's happening all the time into a void is very odd to me.
I'm exhausted just listening to you try to explain that. I'm exhausted.
Seems odd. So again, I'm going on, I want to promote the kindness like me and you have always done. I want to promote, be better, live your life, have fun, be nice to people, and whatever. And I think what I love about what we're doing here, and we're going to get into it with these Reaper reviews, is they're fun. We're having fun. Like, literally.
100%.
I have a blast doing these. I said that to you every episode. And I think that what I'm seeing in the people back is it's resonating with them, because it's like, hey, let's just go have some fun for a little while. We don't know what we're talking about. You don't know what you're doing. You don't even know what you're doing. You don't even know what
I don't even know what I'm wearing. Oh, I have nothing on but this blue shirt. Sorry.
You don't know what you're doing at all. Are your glasses blue on the rim, or did that just come out from the light of the screen?
Blue on the rim, Theo, like my eyes.
Oh my goodness, you got blue everywhere. You got a blue shirt on? Is this all to bring out the eyes?
I didn't mean to do that today, but I am running out of shirts because I've been in Western Canada now for 4.5 months. So you get what you get, people.
R&B star. Look at you. You're wearing all blue. It's amazing. Well, let's give them what they came for.
So, and one more thing just to add to that, because Rossi, you're so fucking good at this shit. Like, you're so good at talking and from the cuff, and you're when you popped out of your mama, that's the mouth that she gave you, and you're so good at it because you are freaking honest all the time. So I love that how people on my Twitter feed, which is off the jar, forget about it.
Great.
Off the jar. It's off the jar. I'm telling you what it means. The lid's off. It's all out of it. It's off it.
I like that. You don't want to be on the jar.
No, you want to be out of it. And it is. It's like a little thing popping out of a Jack in the Box. My peeps are going, this is so great because you don't know fucking anything. You don't remember the shows. Oh my God, but you're so good in them, and Theo's amazing. And I go, no, you don't understand. This has been the greatest thing for me, selfishly, to rewatch these shows.
Oh my God.
What a hit. What a show.
What a show.
Like, what a show, Theo. Like, what the hell? Did Sutter? I guess he knew what he was doing all along. Like, who knew?
He did. And that's the fun part. And I can't tell you, same thing. Like, I can't tell you how many messages I get, and they're like, this is when he started saying Jackie Boy. They'll talk about Chibs because we talked about
yeah.
Or John Teller doesn't speak every episode. He stops and Jack starts speaking. And I'm like, wow, great. First of all, great. 2, don't ruin it for me because I don't know what's going on.
Don't give up all the secrets. I was in all the shows, but don't do that. Yeah.
So speaking of, we're about to get into this episode, which they'll hear when we get into it, but it's season 2, episode 2,
Paraduces.
Small Tears. 2-2. You got me laughing. My nose is running. Okay. Let me go to my notes because I don't know what's going on, and these get confused. But what I do know, and I'm going to start with this is still right after what I consider the biggest moment ever happened on the show, which is Gemma, episode 1, season 2, which is the game changer for Sons of Anarchy. If anybody, I have to ask where that show changed and became what it is today, that episode, that moment with Gemma, correct?
100%.
Okay.
And to finish off, which we will discuss at another time, that very first piloted show in season 2, we're just going to jump over it and go to this first show after the pilot, which is Small Tears.
Yeah.
It starts off, Theo, with Katie singing.
Not the pilot. The pilot's the first episode of a whole show. That you mean the season premiere of season 2.
It's a season premiere of season 2. So when thank you for correcting that. The first show of season 2.
Correct.
So now we're going to go to Small Tears. And the very first thing you hear is Katie singing. Katie sings the song Goodbye Tuesday. Ruby Tuesday.
Yeah.
And
who sings the original?
I have not a clue. It's my generation, but Goodbye Ruby Tuesday.
Is it the Beatles?
Is it the Beatles? I'm just not sure.
I'm not even
Probably.
Look it up. Probably. Sounds like it is.
I could look it up, but who wants to when I'm talking?
It's better when we know.
So I forgot, but it's Katie. And that incredible voice of hers. After what we saw happen to her in the previous show, I'll stop. But
question: has she? Let the fans answer this because we don't know because we haven't watched them. We've done a few of these. Has she sung in any of the episodes so far that we've done?
I think so. Yeah,
I think so too.
I think she sang in every frickin' season, man.
Every season, but not every episode.
Oh no, not every episode.
Yeah.
No.
Got it. Okay. It's really good. Great way. And by the way, great way to open up because, again, we're coming off this horrific assault, which changes the game, right? Completely changes the game. And then what I love is that, and I wrote that, Katie singing Ruby Tuesday, here comes Trust the Unser. And we really start digging into that episode, that relationship with Unser and Gemma.
Did you see what he did with the car hood? Did you remember that? Unser drives up in his car, gets out of his car, and he rubs his hand over Gemma's hood of her car. Do you know why he did that?
Warm.
To see if it's warm. And I remember, I saw this show. This is one of the ones that I did see back in the day. And I fucking called up Dayton and I said, Dayton, you're brilliant. You're brilliant. You ran your head. He said, I wanted to see if it was warm. I wanted to know if it was warm. That's a cop, man. That's a cop. That's the stuff. That's the stuff you do for your homework when you play. You do this. I do this. Yeah. All great actors. They do that. Yeah. It's subtle. It wasn't like, oh, let's touch the car. No, it's just he ran it over lightly.
Everything he does is subtle. I could watch him. I've said this about many people.
24/7. 24.
Because he looks like he's angry, but he cares. And you know he's angry at all times in real life, like if you know him. But then his character is kind of like a curmudgeon, but he's not. Like he loves Gemma.
And let's say this right now. Other than, well, you and I know him the best, but Ronnie and Emilio, they're good pals, still are. But you and I know him the best. Yeah. And I've hung with Dayton in his back house with I think the rabbit's gone now, but Charlie. I think the rabbit's name was Charlie.
Buddy was
Buddy.
And the reason I know that is because Buddy was the rabbit, I was little Buddy, and he's Big Buddy.
And I was nobody.
You were nobody.
I was nobody. So there you go. That's why we all got along. Oh, come on, Theo. And you weren't drinking back then, and
no, I was.
Well, early days you were. Correct.
That season I was.
Oh, yes, you were.
Yeah, look at the size of me.
No, you're still Popeye, the Sailor Man.
Yeah, I was Popeye the Sailor Man. I'm going to blow my nose.
Anyway.
Don't worry about it. Go ahead.
No, that's right. No, so just those days, and I know that our fans love to hear this, but we still do. It's harder now, but we hang out. And we're all getting older.
He just sent me a picture. He has long hair, and he had like this cowboy hat on and glasses. And I mean, he's out of his mind, and I love him.
Is he playing? Is he playing his saxophone? Did he mention that to you?
He's like 196 years old at this point. He's Nosferatu. I don't know what's going on.
I would go to his house week after week after week, and he kept saying to me, "You ever seen Deadwood?" I go, "I have." You want to see it again? No, I don't. Would you like another glass of wine? Yes, I would. I mean, pretty simple.
He never forgave me. So when we first started hanging out, whatever it is, 2008, whatever, he gave me the Deadwood box set, the DVD, and he said, you need to watch this. You need to watch this. And I said, I don't know if I'm going to watch it. She said, you need to watch it. And I said, I don't know if I'm going to watch it. I don't really watch anything. And then I didn't watch it, but one of my dogs at the time ripped the box.
Ooh.
Can I tell you something? You would make it like he didn't have 75 of those from HBO given to him. He never forgave me for it. He brings it up all the time. He's like, and you ruined my DVD set. I'm like,
well, it was mine. You gave it to me, first of all.
And no one even cares about, like, he's nuts, but I love him. But point is, he's fantastic. So when he finds her, he knows right away something's up, right? He knows something's amiss. I am like, I start feeling it because, again, we watched that premiere. The reason you saw the premiere episode is because we used to go to premieres every year at a big theater. Remember when we
in every season we had a premiere episode of every season,
and they got bigger and bigger and bigger. The first
season
was on like this little screen, and then by the fifth, sixth, and sixth
season,
Man Chinese theater. We had the whole block.
1,500 people.
Off. Yeah, the whole block closed off too, like it was a giant Jurassic Park premiere. So when he finds her, I now remember and eventually we'll get to that first episode, but I remember how bad that was. So he walks in and I just love them two together. What I really loved, and I just want to go, and then I'll let you go on this, is she calls Tara, which is really crazy how much their relationship changed from what we all know happens in the future. But there was a moment of coming together for them. Like, that's who she calls, and they have each other's back. And watching her, Unser, and Tara together, it was—
I have it right here.
So great.
No, it says the circle of trust between Unser, Tara, and Gemma. It started to make me think, Theo, about, and that's why I love this was your idea, bouncing all over these first 3 seasons for a while, and then we'll touch the later ones later. But there was a past of the young Tara, the tough, charming, tattoo on her back Tara, that then split that town, became a doctor, and now she's back home. Gemma, when you have nothing, and what's happened to her is the worst thing, one of the worst things that can ever happen to anybody.
I agree.
You have nobody. And she put the blinders on. She did not want to bring Clay, Charlie. No. Who do you go to? Wayne Unser, cop, known him since they were in high school together.
Yeah, high school together.
Same high school, right? And Tara, she's a doctor. She's a woman. She's a female. And that I have it right here, that circle of trust. Wow. We've seen it for the very first time. Those three know something now that no one else will know until they have to.
Right. And that binds them. And Megan kept pointing it out, like, this episode was so, like, this is something that is not just this female empowerment, which we've been talking about so much with this show that I don't think it really gets enough credit for. But here we are.
And it should.
It really should. And really
Always.
At this moment, with their two bonds of, like, she's a doctor, her whole life has been turned upside down, which we come to find out more and more about Tara with the stuff from the past with Jay Carnes' character and all that.
Yeah.
And then what Gemma, like, and we'll get to some things she said throughout the episode of, like, I've been hit before and, all this kind of stuff, which is amazing. Okay. Welcome home, Bobby. He was in prison?
Yeah.
For what?
At the end of last season, they had to Stahl had to toss him in because him and Opie were seen doing something, and there was a witness. We had to wipe someone out. We'll talk about it when we get to those episodes. Yeah. We had to wipe someone out, and Bobby got charged for this. They had a witness. Well, we got rid of the witness. The witness ran, so they had to let Bobby out.
Oh, like Heffernan or something was the witness.
Sure.
Name. I think I might know that. I think it's Heffernan.
Sure. Because the fans are going to go, you're completely wrong. No, I think that's fine. Right. I think I'm right. Good. Yeah. I think there was a beautiful
it was like an apartment complex.
Yeah. And there was one beautiful black gal. She had a couple of lines. She was great. She came in. There was a guy as well. But anyway, that's why Bobby was coming home. And
okay, so then at the end of the episode before this, we had this giant party. To me, the classic Tig. I mean, that's Tig. Like right there. Classic Tig. You're in this compromised position. Butt cheeks are in your face.
I need to tell the peeps what happened on that
Please
day.
do.
So Gwyneth Order Payton, the director, who
About my favorite,
Jesus,
by the way, did my best stuff ever.
I just cannot. She was so powerful and smart, and just awesome on that show. They all
She's
were.
a cowboy.
Gwyneth,
She's a cowboy.
she was she
real
rode.
life
She rode
cowboy.
She rode horses every day.
Yeah.
Pretty much, unless she was directing us.
Yeah.
She came up to me before that scene. We obviously read the script, and it was going to be a fun day for me, an easy day for me. She said, "I found a hanger-on girl for you, and I think you're going to like her because her name is Diane, and my wife's name is Diana. So close enough." I said to Di, she's got your name. It's all good.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Right.
She says, "What's the scene?" I go, "Don't worry about it." We set that thing up time after time after time. And, you have to be very professional and don't be an idiot and don't be an idiot. And I'm not that, and I am a pro. So, but it was one of those days where
so funny.
when that phone, and I remember that was the first take that made the movie. I couldn't get the phone out of my pocket. And Gwyneth, almost quicker, she loved it. She loved the struggle. And my poor, beautiful gal who was on top of me just kept, rolling around. I was digging for my phone. And I whipped her off that bar quick. She fell on people don't know this, but they are now, about a 2-foot pad. She said, "No, I got this. I got this." She would fall on that thing every single time.
She wasn't a stunt woman.
She wasn't, but then there was a stunt gal who you did see actually hit the ground.
Got it.
What a fun day at work.
Wait,
God.
Question. Did you improv the "I love you" line, or was that written?
Yeah. I sure.
Amazing.
Truly sure. And if I didn't, it's again one of Sutter's little jewels that you just go, yeah, he's got this guy.
So that to me was like classic Tig. Like that, now we're starting. And again, I really feel like, and we've been saying this a lot, is Tig got really put together early. We started really finding all these things about
little things. Yeah.
Like little ingredients into making Traeger, right? So Alvarez doing Alvarez, right? That's Alvarez right there we don't remember. We seem to get lost. A lot of us who live in the end of this show is that Alvarez truly was the bad guy. He was our nemesis, right? So here he is.
Movie star.
Great hair.
No, he's a movie star. He's just like, he's not, and you can barely hear what he's saying. Essie, like, and we know Emilio, really well. We go to his charities. We ride with him.
They'll talk to him all the time.
He's the kindest. I mean, he's just gives it up all the time. You're amazing. Oh my God. And to see his work, to be in like you did, like I did, like we all did when we got those boots on and those shoes, we were in it. We were in that world. Emilio.
And I'll say it every time his name comes up. So here's my question. Why did Jax change? I'm asking you like, why did he change the anarchy thing that was carved to the 1-9 with the fingers? What was the point?
Because he didn't want the Mayans to blow back on us. He wanted the Mayans to go after the 1-9ers.
Why?
Protect us, try and help us out. And needless to say, I mean, that was Ryan's idea. I mean, that was Kurt's idea, but Opie did it so well in carving the A. That was going to be, we're proud of this. You did this, and we're going to take blame. This is on us. And all of a sudden, Jax goes, no, I want the blowback to be another club, another group of guys, not us. And so I think that's why I did it.
Have you noticed, as we keep doing these more and more, that in every single episode there's dissent, like it's Jackson Clay butting heads?
I mean, where is it? I write it down all the time. Oh yeah,
like all the time.
Like Charlie and Ron are at major odds with everything. Everything, and yet Jax has, and we'll get into it, but Jax has a look about him, like a Perlman, with what happened to Donna and that miss.
Stayed calm.
He's just got but you can see Clay, and Perlman does it brilliantly. Is he unraveling? Is he pissed off? Is he trying to keep it in? he's a little petulant with Jax. Jax is just, he's got some swagger to him early in this season, and I'm seeing it in this episode.
Do you ever think, because, you know, you and I could talk about this for days, but like, it's really funny. You've done, you know, 968 things on screen and theater. And we know from Sons, with doing a show for so long, I think it was almost like a cumulative of 8 years. I know from my own personal experience that you really do start to take on a lot of the character, a lot of the things that are occurring. They live with you. I had a really hard time seasons 5, 6, and 7.
Oh,
you know,
dude,
as a human, just existing in life, especially because we you know, not only, but we had a 6-month turnaround. We filmed for 6 months, be off for 6 months, film for 6 months. So in that 6 months, by the time I would like decompress the character, I'd go right back into him. Right. Do you think that this is kind of that beginning where everybody starts really attaching themselves?
I do. And I'm going to tell you why. What a great thing to bring up, because it's so palpable to me, and I didn't know why. But the first season was what it was. We're now starting to go like this. We don't know where we're going, but we're going to get picked up. We got a pickup letter. Season 2, everybody started to feel their characters more and more. I got to deal with my Donna pain. You get to do more funny shit. Thank God for that, and all these things, and serious, but funny stuff. We didn't know how much we needed that. Charlie Hunnam did shit to me in this season, and it started really early, because he, which I forgot, starts talking to Piney in these episodes.
Yep.
About
the preview.
You know, Trigger Man and Clay. You know, and Opie or Piney goes, yeah, Trigger Man and Clay. Like they think that they know what happened to Donna and how wrong it was and how unfortunate it was, but they know. And Hunnam, to me, on set was kind of distant, you know? Not when we went out, but he wanted nothing. And I thought, okay, so he's doing his thing. He's doing his thing. He's doing his whatever he needs to do to get through the day of feeling the way he does about Tig. That's what this is. See, I don't, me as an actor, once we get to set, you bet, it's on. Remember us? We never used to take our cell phones. We borrowed cell phones from set. Never. We were in it the whole time, right? But I never got confused with who I was as the character when we weren't filming, when we were rehearsing sure. But I think Charlie had a massive load early in this season now, starting in season 2 with the big fights with Clay and me and all the things that we will get into more and more as we watch them. And he let that be inside him all the time.
Well, it's really interesting, right? You know, for someone, and you know this as someone who's been studying acting for very long now, me 22 years, you longer than that. And when you really study acting, you study all the different facets of acting. And I've always thought, you know, and I came out in the Strasberg School, which was, you know, off of Uta Hagen, which is Stanislavski.
Love her. Yeah.
You know, and not, if nobody understands what that means, there's different ways to approach acting. It's not just saying lines. There's techniques where you respond. There's Meisner techniques. And then there's techniques where you have to become the character, and some people can't get out of it. Everybody's heard of method acting. That's kind of become like a pop term. And I remember Daniel Day-Lewis said something along the lines of where he was like, no, I have to do that because I'm just not as good as other people. I have to stay in character all the time. He was almost saying like, no, even though he is arguably the greatest living actor, he would say, I have to stay in it because I'm not good enough to turn it on and off. Where I can name some other people, and you probably have hundreds too in your life, but someone like Ron Perlman, for example, could be speaking or telling a joke, and then they'll be like rolling, and he'll be like, oh, hold right there. And he'll turn into this character, lash out at someone, be completely angry, and they'll call cut, and he'll be like, okay, where was I? And I'm like, how does he do that, right? And me, I have to have the headphones on, I'm in the corner, I'm hiding. But as the years go on, I've gotten better and better and better to turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off.
Good for you.
But I do believe it comes with time if you let it. Some people feel comfortable in their process, and I never judge people's process. It is what it is. Especially for me, the last few seasons of the show, I had to stay away from everyone because I was away from everyone. But I did feel that in this episode that we were watching, we're right about the time where people start exploring into who they are, and they start becoming who they are, and their identities start becoming who they are. And that started trickling off screen. You know, you start to become like that. So it was just something I wanted to bring up because I thought it was really interesting because I was watching it happen. I'm like, oh, this is.
And it is happening. And right out, it is. I just had something written down here where there was that moment where in a previous episode where Gemma says to Tara, Jax has to tell you the truth all the time, just the truth. You love the man, then you love the club, but you got to know the truth. In this episode, Small Tears, you notice, and it's so subtle. I fucking love the actors on this show, man. I know it's biased. Yeah. I'm in the fucking thing, but Tara, Maggie Siff, when she doesn't tell Jax the truth, and she just demanded the truth from Jax, and now Jax is asking about her mom, and she completely lies, because she knows a lie at that moment is going to be better for everyone. But you can see her in her eyes struggle with that, telling Jack something that was a lie, and she just demanded the truth from him. This freaking club, man, this motorcycle club, this family, this bond of sex, lies, and rock and roll, and truth and family. Oh my God, it's deep.
And it's ultimately at the end of the show, what people don't understand is the veneer of the show is this motorcycle club and these what you want to call them, gangs or groups or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's just a show about relationships. That's what 100%. It is.
That's why it's
the
so
whole
successful.
thing is relationships. Every different relationship you're watching as you go. So, okay. So Unser comes up with that smart plan with the car. Great idea, right? I didn't remember any of that. Say it's a car accident. Amazing, watching him, wreck that Cadillac. I remember that, which was so funny.
Johnny and the boys love doing that too.
So great.
Our Wranglers, our car guys, they love that shit.
Then you guys are at the gas station. You met up with my guy Tori Kittles, who I've done actually a couple projects.
A million things with him.
Yeah, love Tori. And then ER was there. That was his guy ER. You guys met up at the gas station. Unser comes. What I noticed when that was happening and the credits are rolling, this episode's written by my guy Jack LaJudas.
Yeah, Jack. How was Jack?
He just wrote me.
Did he? Did. Give him my freaking love, would you?
Out of nowhere, he wrote me an email. I haven't spoken to him in 10 years.
Love him, Jack.
The greatest. Please. Iconic writer. Love him. He was with us for a few years on the show. Okay, so now I'll never forget that day in the hospital, wheeling in that stretcher. Thank God you weren't part of it. We just had to come and see you. What a shit show.
What? I can't even imagine. Tell everybody, please.
Listen, when you're doing a show that's very serious and you get these comedic moments, sometimes people lose the reality of the situation and it starts turning into like
My Three Stooges. It's just My Three Stooges.
Or Laurel and Hardy, or it's like, and you realize that like this isn't a Buster Keaton film. This is like we're still in the reality. And I just remember that day, the jockeying that was going on, and everybody was pushing and Bobby, his hangover. You would think that he drank like super petrol gasoline, like he was just. And I remember it so clear because at one point I had just given up, and I just said, "Who's ever saying something? Just let them. Like, let's just get this thing in there and let's just go."
I remember you telling me that. Actually,
I was finished.
I'm done.
Because there's too many of us in one consolidated area,
jackals,
which is always the
jackals.
Problem. Yeah, that's our line. That's our line, which people realize we used to call jackals. And the jackals were whenever you would long for the days where you were shooting scenes with one other actor or two. But when there were 8 people in their chairs in a circle,
no, it's hard.
Everybody's making fun of each other. The jackals are jackling. It's who's one up.
Do not,
each other.
and don't screw. I did this maybe more than anybody. Don't screw up your line one time, because if you do,
you're finished.
Next time around, you try it again. By the time it's done, everyone's told to leave the room, close up on Coates while he reads the line on the table. Please,
because everybody's making fun of you the whole time.
And what it is no, and it's pressure, right? And the camera's on all of us, and maybe solo on me, and it's always just one line. Like Clay and Charlie had a bunch of the dialogue, and then we'd all have, "Oh, I love this," or "Oh, I wouldn't." But if it was too informational, like the Niners and the Mayans are going to do the Thule poop down at the 4th and the 8th on a motorcycle club car, try and get that out, and you have one shot.
And if you had a joke, if you had something funny, no one would laugh. It was almost like on purpose, like no one would laugh.
The only way anyone would laugh is, "Oh my God, Coates is trying that fucking line again." And I'd look up at my rest of my boys. You'd all be like this, like, "Oh no."
Oh, goodness, what a mess. So when there was a lot of people on set, it was a mess, and that was definitely. Meanwhile, they're the most unforgettable times because we were all together, which again became lesser and less as we got more.
Yeah.
So I just said Gemma and Unser's relationship is great. Clay and Jack's really starting to hate each other. The hospital was when they kind of turned on each other.
Yeah, I said things are getting really tense. This is not Friends. This is not, an episode of Friends anymore, right?
No.
All right. Now, Rossi.
Go.
I don't know if this is the first time or I don't know because I don't know the show. I think I'm in it. I'm not sure. Kristen, Winter, and Dendry Taylor as Ima, Lila, and Luann. Like, how great were those girls? Like,
literally could have easily just been in 1-2 episodes, been like written in. They probably came on as co-stars, guest stars, and yet became part of the fabric of Sons of Anarchy.
100%.
And extended to the end. Had huge story points throughout.
Right to the end.
And this is the beginning of it. Like, here we are. Amazing.
Women in this show, best. Like, I'm sorry. And we'll get into it, but that whole Tara, Ima thing, and Luann and Bobby, we'll get into all that shit. But anyway, this was the beginning of the girls. I'm just going, so good. And then we'll look, is there more before I get to Tom Arnold? Do you want to say something before I get to Tom Arnold?
Yeah, I got a couple of things to say.
Yeah, go.
We've been doing a few of these. I don't know how many. Could be 10, could be 100, could be 1. I don't know how many we've done. This whole thing could be a dream to me. I don't know.
We're still sleeping. Yeah, go for it.
The Otto character. This is the first time we're seeing him in.
Was this the first time we saw Sutter?
For sure.
Okay.
Maybe it's because I know Kurt so well, or maybe it is because, it's interesting that he's the showrunner and he's an actor and he's on the show and, blah, blah, blah.
He does it all.
Because he was on The Shield too, as a character. He played him really patient. Otto's like very patient, very like here, right? I never worked with Otto, ever. Did you?
No.
Tig and Otto were never in a scene together, correct?
Don't think so.
Okay, because I know Juice and Otto were never in a scene together.
No, he was only in prison. I don't ever remember going to prison to see him. Clay did. Charlie did.
Did his character die?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I kind of remember. All right, we'll get to that probably in a long time.
That's later.
That's way later. Okay, I don't know. Okay.
He's biting his tongue off and all kinds of shit go down. Yeah.
But he had he was in the makeup chair for a long time for that character.
Long time. I saw him in the makeup trailer quite a few times. I go, Kurt,
so did I.
Do you want any tips? You want tips? You feel comfortable? You know what a mark is? You just go, fuck off.
You want to read some lines?
Want to read some lines? You want to go over your lines with me?
Okay, so there's that. And then I have to bring up a huge shout out. This was a very big moment for me, is Henry Rollins. Henry Rollins, AJ Weston, one of my favorite singers when I was young, one of my favorite writers. I used to go to his shows. He is the reason why we went over to Iraq and Kuwait and got involved in the military. He's one of the smartest people on the planet. He played the shit out of that role. Him and Arkin.
And subtly.
Subtly.
and subtly and horrifyingly well. Just that
fucking force of nature.
Force.
And when I met him in the makeup trailer, I don't get starstruck. I don't believe in it. But when I saw him, I had seen him in concert so many times that like,
cool.
And I'm a hip hop skateboard kid. And when I saw him, I was like, what the fuck? Like, cause I had seen him. Because when he performs in just black shorts, no shoes, no socks. He's covered in tattoos, and he's an animal. And it was the way I.
He's a poet, man. He's a poet. He's a poet.
And he's an amazing just voice and smart and whatever. So, and he's just way ahead of the curve in punk music and all this stuff.
Correct.
So then we got Arkin. And if anybody doesn't know this, Ethan Zobel, Adam Arkin, is Alan Arkin's son. Alan Arkin, one of the greatest actors to ever live.
Ever.
Adam is a hell of a director.
He directed our show.
A bunch of them. Played the shit out of that Zobel character. Right?
Again, we can't talk about it because it was the first show of season 2. We'll save that. But I'll never forget meeting him. And I'll never forget doing more scenes with him. I'll never forget how he talks and the words that Sutter gave him to say about that whole ideology, that whole belief.
I have that written, yeah.
Yeah, and Adam steps into it with such ease and ferocity. I've written some stuff down here that I don't want to miss about him, but maybe it's in that next episode. Yeah, it's probably in the next episode we're going to talk about next week. But anyway, really, really good. Adam and Henry together. Again, it shows that Wendy O'Brien and the casting, and now it's all out. It's all on the phone. Everyone wants to be on our show. Everyone, please let us get Adam and Henry to do this and to play those kinds of guys that they played. And with such zeal, because Sutter, again, being with the times, with what's going on in America and around the world for that matter, Sutter wasn't afraid of anything, and these boys nailed it. They hit it right out of the park.
Yeah, you just brought something up as an actor that is really interesting and way more now in 2020 than it's ever been. People have blurred the lines, back to what we spoke about earlier with via social media, is that you play characters, and sometimes people confuse life with acting. I have to point out a lot to people that I've never murdered someone in real life, but I've murdered thousands of people on TV, right? You know what I mean? Like that's.
And I'm actually not dead. I'm very alive.
Right,
no one's died more than me in movies. I'm alive.
I get it.
I'm okay.
I don't. You know, people. The first thing people say to me, "You still ride?" I'm like, I don't ride anymore. My bikes are in storage. I have kids. I live a different life. You know. And again, it's just they have a confusion of what it is. And again, the lines are getting different. The reason I bring that up is right now in today's age, someone offers you like this hardcore. I'm dealing with a friend right now who's putting together a film. And he has a character in the film who is like a really bad guy. And I've played some really bad guys, and you've played some really bad guys. This guy's like a really bad guy. That's as much as I'll say about it. And he said, I think I'm gonna have a hard time getting someone for the role. And I'm like, it's acting. And then I realized that now people are so concerned about brands and who they are and like their image that they don't go to these dark places that someone like Phyllis Seymour Hoffman or some of the greats, you know, which you and I have done, that you want to go to. That's the point of acting, right? It's really interesting to me as you go back to this, like these guys, those are tough roles to play. And for them to do that and to step out shows you how much time has changed in these 11 years since then, that I don't know if people would have done that now, like to play these unapologetic, we believe this way of thinking.
I think they would, Theo. I think they would, Theo. I mean that because I think it's a testament to the kind of acting and guys Adam and Henry are, and I and Bill Fichtner and you, even though you're younger. I mean, look, the greatest thing of all is to get an offer to play someone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I've had a lot of those. You've had a lot of those. You can always say no, but it's the ones, and I say this till the cows come home, I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not afraid to fail. So when I was asked to play a Nazi general in this beautiful film called The Poet, It's won some awards at the Boston Film Festival, way before Sons. I've never been more horrified as Kim to put on that uniform. I put that uniform on that was actually from Germany. I cut my hair. I worked on my German accent. But the first scene, when you see this character get out of a train, smoking a cigarette, it's 1942, 1941 in this movie. And it's a Romeo and Juliet story. My son falls in love with a beautiful young Jewish girl. And Daryl Hannah played my wife. So the movie was a huge, but to put that shit on and to put it on and to speak like that and that belief, that's called, you're doing it for the movie, for the art, for the experience of telling a story. And Adam and Henry, we're not afraid of that. So maybe yes, maybe no about today might be different. I'm not sure. I just know that if the writing's amazing and Sutter can convince you as to why you're doing this, you come along for the ride and then you just do it. And now we're still talking about it years later.
But I think, and again, I think that that's the difference between actors and what I call people playing pretend. Do you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people, and I don't mean that I'm never going to be a person that knocks people, but there's a lot of people that are playing pretend right now. And in their mind, they go, well, I don't want to go do that role because I have a contract with this big corporation.
I can't hang with people like that. I can't hang with people like that.
It's maddening because, you know, they exist in this business where it is pretend. And then an audience member could look at someone and be like, why did that person do that? Or why did they play that? Or why are they doing this? And I'm like, it's acting. It's literally playing pretend. It's false. So kudos to them. Let me get back to, okay. I just wrote there, Gemma's story is heartbreaking. And then I get into the Luann character because this is where we're going to get Tom Arnold. Let's get into the porn stuff.
Yeah. Were those fun days for you?
You know, it was odd. I'm odd on set when there's a lot of people around and I'm odd. You know this. I want to keep to myself. I love being with Tommy. I was with Tommy a lot during the porn days. I love Chibs. You know, I think I was still smoking cigarettes back then. We'd always be like outside, you know, doing our thing. But it was odd. We had like a porn studio on the set. And if you look in the background, there's like in these scenes, there's like stuff going down. And it was like just this, again, this is right when we started to feel like I'm in this biker world. Here we are. And Luann, her character, I forget how, and I don't mean this in a bad way because I don't remember anything. I forget how big a part of the show she was, like that whole Cara thing. And I forget Tom Arnold was, you know, with Georgie Caruso. And like this whole thing that we had created because Cara lived with us for like 7 years after that. Yeah. And this is the beginning.
Right till season 6, I think. Anyway, we'll get into that. But yeah, Tom Arnold, I'd done a movie with him. It's one of the only movies that I can tell kids to see of Kim Coates called Carpool. And Tom Arnold and oh my God, we just had such fun. Bunch of kids in Vancouver. I gained a lot of weight. It's fun to eat on the craft service table, just like gaining weight. This cop, funny. Tom Arnold was hysterical, way over the top. Been married too many times. I don't get it, but just way over the top. And this guy never forgot working with me, as I did with him. And all of a sudden, Sutter tells me, guess who's coming on the show? I don't know. Kurt, who? Tom Arnold. I went, what? And sure enough, there he is, talking in Charlie's face, like, back away, son, back away. I'll destroy you. Here it comes. Tommy, funny. He was funny. And he gets to come up and
he gives the Brad Pitt line. Yeah, I mean, he's funny. He's fun. And the thing is, he wasn't, what I loved about Tom, which got very hard on the show as we continued was, and I got it, I get it, is guest stars, recurrings, would be intimidated. And of course they would. I mean, it's an intimidating show to walk on. You have these guys who are like family. We were super tight. We were always together. And you're going to come in and play like the adversary of these people. And we were always so welcoming. And like we, you know, you and I had these little routines where we say hello to everybody. Let's have breakfast. Let's hang out, you know, whatever. But Tom just came in and he was like, hey, this is still early in the show. Tom Arnold, you know, he's in one of my favorite, the movie with Schwarzenegger,
Yeah, Terminator or whatever that
No,
was back in the day.
The Lies.
Oh,
movie with
yeah.
Jamie Lee
Yeah,
Curtis. I can't remember
Yeah.
anything, but he just came on and he just played that role like amazing. And again, there's a lot of shenanigans going on when we first meet him. Bobby's throwing up on the bouncer and the bodyguard, and there's just so much shenanigans happening.
In that scene, because I wasn't in it, I didn't know why Bobby wasn't speaking. It's because he had that mushroom soup in his mouth, waiting and waiting for his big moment of the vomit. Good for you. Good for you, Boone.
Made a giant mushroom meal out of it.
Did he swallow all that soup before he had to do it? And then give me some more. I need some more.
They're like, we're out of mushroom soup.
We're out of
17 cans. But okay. So wait. Then we have that. This is something I want to bring up, and you probably don't even realize it because you were in it. My favorite scene from the episode. Super simple. You and Opie in the kitchen doing the guns.
Ryan said to me at the end of the first season, and you remember this better than anybody, we would always get together with Sutter and his team, and we discuss the upcoming year. What do you think? What are you thinking? Here's what we're thinking. Not telling us much, but what do you think? And Ryan called me up at the end of the first season, and he said, Coates, I just want to let you know that I talked to Sutter, and I told him, I know this is going to sound odd because of Opie and Tig, but forget about that. But for Ryan and Kim, I want to work more with Kim. And I remember hearing that, and I thought, I don't know where this is going to go for Tig with the whole Donna thing, but wouldn't that be interesting? And right off the bat, here's Clay going, no, Opie is with Tig. Those were things that Sutter laid in there for whatever the reason was at that time. And that little scene with the guns.
Oh, it's fucking great.
I mean, again, it's pure Sutter genius with the skank and the wives I've had and this and that, but with heart. Tig had heart, and Opie's just opening it all up. Like, and it's just, the audience must have just loved that stuff, you know?
Yeah, well, he's gone, right? He's got the white eyes, I call it. It's like deer in headlights. He's so stoic. He's kind of, the life had left him because of Donna. And he's sitting there, and there's all this underlying stuff that only the viewer would know.
Yeah.
And watching your looks to him, you keep looking at him, and the empathy, and when you tell him you're not alone, I was like, oh my God, he's telling him he's not alone, but he's the one who made him alone, and he's feeling bad about it. And it was
good
like,
for you, Rossi.
The layers are crazy.
To see the layers in that. Good for you, son.
I saw every layer.
Very subtle, very.
And again, I noticed that Opie doesn't know anything about Tig. Piney hasn't gotten his ear. He's only gotten in Jack's. So Opie's just sitting here trusting in a brother, getting close to someone and not realizing that, you know, what do they say? Sometimes the people closest to you are the biggest enemies. And I'm like, this is the guy right here. And it was like, oh, so there's so much tension and so much beauty in that scene. Okay. Then we get into, again, here we go. Jackal time, the baseball beatdown scene when we come into the porn studio. Those bats, which by the way,
they were rubber.
Shout out to the props department, Adam, and who was our other props guy who I love?
Brando and Adam. And Adam.
And then earlier we had someone else.
Before those two?
Yeah, the guy, he had the beautiful accent. I loved him. It's irrelevant. Point is, those bats.
I forget.
Those bats were, yeah, I think I don't know. But the bats were made to look wood, but they were rubber. So you had to be careful because if you hit, they would kind of like bend up. And
it'd be like a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Yeah.
You would see the whole thing just warp.
Everybody's just coming in and going to town on everybody and doing
jackals. It's a jackal scene.
Jackal scene. And they're coming. Everybody thinks they're in the movie The Warriors, and they're all just doing
and action. I'd run away. I would run away. I would just.
I did. I just said I'm going to be way off camera here. Just don't worry about me. But so that goes down. Here's something that you have to understand the brilliance in the writing. And this is what people need to understand. Okay, you don't watch anything.
Nothing.
Jack says we're getting into the porn game. We have the vote around the table. I'm just going to fast forward for a second past that.
Please, yeah.
He meets with Luann. Luann thinks he's going to kill her.
Yeah. Scary.
He says, do you think that I was going to Adriana you? Do you know what that's from?
Not a clue.
I know you don't. So
I was going to ask you about that.
Okay.
I thought, was that a mistake?
No. Do you know what it is?
No.
Okay. Let me tell you.
Please.
One of my favorite shows on the planet. It's an incredible show. If you haven't watched it, you should watch every episode. Is The Sopranos.
I did. I've seen The Sopranos, and I don't remember that at all.
Mateo plays a character called Adriana. Adriana gets killed on The Sopranos.
She sure did, and she did it beautifully.
Alert. He says, "Do you think I'm going to Adriana you?" Which is a cross worlds.
Good.
Because he now brings up Drea Di Matteo, who was on the show in season 1, is not on in season 2, and reference.
Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant.
So and
by subtle.
The way, subtle, brilliant, and if you're not like attuned to what's going on, if you get it, you get it. If you don't, we're moving. We're gonna keep it moving.
I just loved how Dendry just played the moment so beautifully and so scared. I went, and then the word came out. I went, oh, who cares what that means? I just love the reaction of how they're playing it now. But good for you. Yeah, good for you.
You know, I got some things up here. And then, okay, so then we're in the porn game. The gun drop off, that thing with the Niners that night, definitely a Fraturday, right? 100%.
I need to tell you, I'm going to tell the people right now. You probably forgot this.
I wasn't there.
Don't forget anything. Weren't you there that night?
I don't think so. Maybe I just hoped I wasn't, but let me know.
No, I was. It was very dark. The scene was shot very dark. It was a Friday night, Friday into Saturday. You don't remember this. I was doing a movie called A Little Help. Michael Whitehorn with Jenna Fisher. I was playing this beautiful Jewish lawyer. And I said to Michael and everybody, you guys realize I look like Tig Traeger? And Michael said, I don't give a fuck. You're in my movie. And all the they said, well, you've got him for 3 days. He's going to have to get on a plane right away Saturday morning. And then you got Sunday, Monday. He's got to be work on Tuesday. They said, well, put all the stuff. That night, I was in my van. I'm sure you were there because I think you did lines with me. I had my script. In my hand, I had like pages and pages of stuff that was going to be like, I had 2 days to shoot the whole stuff. So I'm learning it. Coach, ready, take. Okay, put it down. And this bad leather jacket. Kelly Jones got rid of that leather jacket. She didn't like that Italian look on me. So that was gone early. This is still season 2 early. And that night was whoa, where am I running? Where are we going? Who am I shooting? I got to get in a plane. Got to go.
A lot of people shooting, a lot of close fire. I don't know how there weren't multiple fatalities. Everybody was firing.
No, but see, this is where, and I know it happens to you as much as it happens to me, they'd go, oh my God, that show is so real. And I always go, yes and no.
Yeah.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Let's just get this straight. It's a fictionalized account of a club, of a family that was a super big hit, and I'm so glad I was in it. But are you telling me that we wouldn't have been in jail by episode 3 in season 1 for the shit that was going down? You're crazy. So let's move on. Okay, let's move on. That was another example of boom, boom, boom. 5 feet away. It looked amazing. Paul Maybaum. I love this guy. I mean, it looked amazing. Dark, great, seedy. But really? All right.
For anybody listening, Paul Maybaum was the director of photography. He's the guy holding the camera. Yes, it was very OK Corral. We would get the OK Corral shots. And again, that's the suspension of disbelief. That's the TV show violence. Very rarely are there massive shootouts in the street. That's, like Heat, the movie Heat, like, the bank robbers in LA that happened where that was based off. They're so rare that they're documented.
Thank goodness.
Yes. Right, where there's 20 people shooting at each other because everyone would be in prison. So
that's correct.
It's a fictional, you know what I mean? Okay.
Yeah.
I realized in this episode, and I just brought it up because we're getting to the end, is the show had a very unique color and lens to it. Is it because of the time period, or were they shooting and making it look a certain way? Do you notice that?
I think it looks amazing. I wish I guess this is early. I guess we'll find out. I know they changed cameras down the line in those last few seasons. Paul changed cameras, but this is just some amazing stuff. It looks really great. I mean,
it looks amazing, but it's so unique to Sons of Anarchy. Like if I watch other shows, I'm like,
I don't know. You would
like I
know better
watched
than
The
me.
Shield. The Shield before it looked just like it, and Breaking Bad kind of looked like it. Where I'm like, oh, they look like the same kind of shows. Like,
Well,
they
then
look like
maybe
they're
there's same
shot the
kind of
same.
camera and same shutters, and Paul lit them similar, or maybe they copied him. I don't know. Maybe could be.
Okay, so picture of JT on the bike when she walks up to it. She goes up when she's in the clubhouse. One of the 50 versions of JT. This John Teller that
Changed every year. No, he should look like. Wait a minute. Get that pit. I like that first one. Put it back. No.
So that guy on the bike, whatever that was, she goes up to that. There's a line that's said there that Clay says to Jax, the minute it stops becoming about this club and it becomes personal, they will know it. Right there is saying, like when he says, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this a long time.
Long time.
I think at this point, and maybe it was just me, I'm never rooting against Clay yet. It might have started later on where he got painted more as like a really bad guy. But at this point, I'm almost rooting for Clay over Jax. I'm like, Clay's doing the right thing here. This guy's constantly undermining him and doing these things that are wrong. Yes, what Clay did with Tig to Donna was a mistake, and maybe hiding some stuff about John Teller was a mistake, but maybe not enough for there to be this much friction. And what he was saying is, I'm leading this club, and the leadership has to keep up a certain way for everyone else. I mean, right? Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. And I also think that Bobby and Tig are the only two really that understand the level of the previous John Teller and Clay Morrow and Gemma, who's the matriarch. She's really running the club anyway, in a way. I mean, and we see that in this episode, and then the next week's episode, the third show. Gemma is Gemma. She's just, everyone just goes, whoa, is she okay? Whoa, like, my God. And Clay, yeah, Kim Coates is rooting for Clay. He's not anti-Jax. It's just that Jax is now on a different path. He wants to change the club, and he's reading his dad's books. He's trying to figure out his dad. Why is he gone? And as a viewer, you're seeing all this, and the Donna funeral at the end of the first season, and now this whole thing with Opie, and he's like a dead man walking. I've got a little thing when he was just firing those guns, and he's like a dead man walking. He is, like you said earlier, he's just soulless in a way. He's just gone, and he can't even talk to his kids. So with all that's going on, I think the viewer, you're always cheering for the Sons of Anarchy. You're cheering for the club. Now there's some Jackson, Clay, and they don't want that. None of us wanted that, but it's too early to take Jack's side, I think. I think you need to figure out where Clay is going with the club. Mm-hmm. He's trying to keep everything together, and then we just saw what happened to Gemma. That's going to screw up the entire season. Maybe for the better. I guess the viewer will decide on that. But really, no, I agree with the whole Jackson and Clay thing.
And what you said about Gemma is so great, right? Because this is truly such an incredibly powerful episode, because she has to keep this all in, right? We could agree that this is potentially, if not one of the worst things that can ever happen to a human, anybody who knows. And it's like, okay, so here she is. She has to keep it all in. And then we do know, because we just reviewed this other episode where she tells everyone, that's also her decision to tell them to save the club, because Jax is about to go no
100%.
Right? But
100%.
But here's what's crazy. Never does she address or deal with this for her. This is why I think Gemma is really such an incredibly complex and interesting character. She doesn't tell anyone to protect the club, and then she tells everyone to protect the club. Never protects Gemma.
100%. God, that's fucking great, Theo. It's true.
And I got to tell you, she's not protecting herself. She's not giving herself a chance to heal. And it made me for a second, because I have to mindset reset on Gemma, because at the end, I thought Gemma was this horrible character who did all these really bad things. And I'm starting to lay the groundwork in my mind of like, maybe Gemma's not as bad as I thought she was. And we'll see, you know, with the stuff with Tara and all the stuff that comes up and, you know, the stuff with Dre and whatever. But at this moment, Gemma is protecting her family in the club. And then we know what happens later where she's protecting her family in the club. So I thought it was a really significant episode. And yeah, man, I'm loving it. I'm just loving it.
I'm loving it too. And just to add to what you just said, that Tig's look of concern when he sees her in the clubhouse.
Oh yeah.
It's so palpable. You can just so feel the concern of us not knowing, but there is a connection. We don't know what that connection is yet, other than I'm Clay's right-hand man. So of course I know Gemma and I would protect her with my own life, but that subtle concern for the matriarch as she walks away, what was for me, those are moments without it saying anything that I love to do. And then Jackson, Ron in church talking about what they talk about, which you already brought up. And then how does it, the whole thing ends, right, Theo, with Gemma and Charlie.
On the rooftop.
Have
you ever been on the rooftop?
I never had a scene up there, but I went up there I went up there and had a smoke with Charlie.
But you never had a scene up there?
No.
Me neither.
No. Did you?
No.
So I actually think maybe, well, I don't know. We'll see. But Charlie, that was his spot. That was his roof. And there he is with Mom. And again, did you notice what Maybaum and Gwyneth did? They turned the camera over top to see Teller Morrow. Teller Morrow to see that's the club. That's Teller Morrow. Yes. That's what this whole thing is about. John Teller and Clay Morrow and the club and what to do. And there's the two people looking at it subtle. It's our clubhouse, but there's the two names. I went, it doesn't end better than that.
Can I tell you that I'm such a dummy? This is 11 or 12 years later, and I never realized Teller Morrow and the whole battle is between Teller and Morrow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, yeah. That's fine.
My mind is blown.
Yeah, out of your mind. But that's why we love you so much.
And then they showed
it. And there's Mom and Charlie, first time that Gem has allowed someone to touch her, really, her and Clay, and again, the subtlest of Gem is so, Katie's so freaking amazing in this season, the whole season. No wonder she won a Golden Globe, right?
Yeah, for this season, yeah.
She turned the way she turns her head subtly and can't even smell him, and the kissing isn't, there's just something off, and you feel it, and wait till the next show we talk about it.
And I don't, yeah, exactly. And I don't want to reveal too much and go to whatever, but, and I kept questioning this, and I'm definitely wrong. So viewer can correct me. I'll end with me not knowing something, but I know that, and people have always questioned this, but Gemma and Juice had a very close relationship at the end, which almost got
super tight.
Yes.
Almost got weird. Yeah.
Almost got weird.
Yeah.
Didn't it almost get weird with Tig and Gemma?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. Don't tell me, because I knew it did. And then when there's that scene,
and wait till our peeps, our thousands of peeps, hear the story of what went down between Sutter and Coates in that episode. It's mind blowing. I still think about it today. Yeah, I can't wait.
Till the next one. I love you too.
Love you.
Yeah, I'm going to shut this thing and
ReaperReviews.